Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another show of Coffee with Crypto. Welcome back, my good people. Welcome back to the connoisseurs of this wonderful crypto market. I keep saying to people that I meet, if you're invested in crypto, you are a millionaire in the making. You just don't know it yet. We've got another panel today. It's a CNBC panel. It's a CNBC roundtable where we've got Joe Kinnan, Becky Quick, and Andrew Ross Sokin. These are the CNBC hosts and anchors. Today they are hosting one of the crypto OGs, that is Anthony Pompliano. You'll see these guys are having a conversation around where Bitcoin is, where is it going, some of the issues we mentioned last week about the Bitcoin ETFs, BlackRock and stuff like that. They're having a conversation. This was just some of the happenings that happened this week. And yeah, let's share again some of the conversation that the smart people are having in this space. So yeah, let's let Joe and the team take it away.
There was, I guess, some ETF news, although you would argue it was to be expected. So BlackRock yesterday or the day before got a CUSIP number that we knew they would have to do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, to understand really where Bitcoin is right now, you got to go back to 2018, 2019. Bitcoin had been up to 20,000 in the bull market. It drew all the way down to $3,000. What happened there, and Stanley Druckenmiller said it was the thing that convinced him to go buy Bitcoin, is that none of the Bitcoiners really sold. About 80% of the people who owned it at 20,000 still owned it
at 56% long term right now. So there's no supply for it either.
It's highly liquid. 76% hasn't been sold in the last year. 56% hasn't been sold in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And really what we saw, what drove Bitcoin's price from that $3,000 bottom to $69,000, I mean, 23x in about 3 years, is that there was a supply and a demand shock. And we printing of money, low interest rates, and we also got the halving. We look like we're headed right back to that. Right now, we do have high interest rates, and they're trying not to print money. But we have a $33.5 trillion debt. They're trying to fund 2 proxy wars. We have the southern border issue. We've got all sorts of inflation they're still trying to combat. And so what's likely to happen here is that they're going to have to return to loose monetary policy. When they do that, it is likely to coincide with the Bitcoin.
But near term, just talking about the ETF, you've got nothing has happened in the last 3 weeks to indicate it's any closer.
Well, I definitely think that it's closer, right? I mean,
because 3 weeks went by.
Well, 3 weeks went by, but also BlackRock is now going and they're seeding the fund.
They're seeding the fund in October, which is new.
Correct. And so they just amended the application. And so really what you're just seeing is they're getting prepared for the approval. The big question is, are they going to just...
Do they know anything? They may know nothing either.
They may know nothing, but I don't think that BlackRock is going to go through all this effort, right? Remember, there's reputation risk here in terms of people know what they're doing. And so it's much more likely that it's going to get approved.
You need a different change on who's in charge. I mean, you've got 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, right? Is that we had one of the Republicans on it, and she said, I have no idea why. It makes no sense. It hasn't been approved yet, but that doesn't mean that she's going to convince her colleagues.
At the end of the day, Bitcoin doesn't care about the politics of it all, right? Now, the SEC and other organizations definitely care. Well, here's the thing: is Bitcoin is just highly, highly disciplined, right? It is the most disciplined central bank in the world. It doesn't care what's going on in the news. It doesn't care about geopolitics. It just produces.
Yeah, but the price of Bitcoin does. The price of Bitcoin cares very much about what happened.
Bitcoin's up 100% to start this year, right? And I don't think a lot of people kind of recognize that because they remember it was at 69,000. It drew down to 15, but it's up 100% to start the year. And so when you look at that, the market is obviously telling us something. And what we're watching is capital is flowing.
Someone's calling it a flight to quality.
You've not someone,
Larry Fink,
right? Larry Fink
versus bonds.
So we had this conversation last week, and these guys are bringing it up about Larry Fink calling it a flight to quality, a flight to safety. So what Pump really just described here was where Bitcoin came from the highs of 2021. So in 2022, we saw Bitcoin hitting, or December 2021, early January 2022, we saw Bitcoin hitting a high of about 69,000, right? And for the year of 2022, it just went straight down. it crashed to the lows of around 15,000. And at 15,000, I said to people, look, Bitcoin has crashed quite a considerable amount. And it's your choice whether you want to invest in it now or you want to see if it go down to the levels of that 11s, 12,000s. But yeah, since 15,000, Bitcoin has risen up. It hit what? 37, 38,000. I think we're hovering at 34, 35 right now. But from the lows of 15, it has pretty much doubled. So that's where we are right now. Let's let the team take it away again.
If I have this right, can the government issue more than 21 million bonds?
The government can issue as much as they want.
Right, but how many Bitcoin?
One of the most
21 million.
One of the most important details or kind of data points that I saw recently that really kind of opened my eyes was TLT from the high in 2020, 2021 is down about the same that Bitcoin is. And so where bonds used to be this flight to safety, now all of a sudden you're seeing people around the world say, look, some people are still buying bonds for sure, but there are some other people who are buying Bitcoin. And given that Bitcoin is the finite asset, I think that's ultimately where you get price appreciation.
Well, Anthony, the only thing I was going to say is that what Washington does is very, very important. If it weren't, there wouldn't be so many Bitcoin enthusiasts trying to do so much to spend money there and try and influence. If you look at Sam Bankman-Fried or anybody down the line, what Washington decides does matter. And I would think that having them decide something would be helpful. Like just getting rules of the road would probably.
So I think that the companies that deal with Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, they care what Washington is doing, right? They're the ones who are spending the money. They're the ones who are doing this. Bitcoin is a decentralized protocol. Bitcoin's not spending any money. Bitcoin doesn't even have a team behind it. And so I think that the companies very much care and they are lobbying and they are trying to get these clarity of rules and try to, push this forward. But Bitcoin itself, if the government tomorrow came out and banned Bitcoin, everyone else around the world would say, okay. And they probably would actually go buy it because all of a sudden they would say, hey, this is outside the system. This is something that isn't controlled by any government. It isn't controlled by any individual. And so it's this very interesting thing where decentralization of the protocol really matters. But the companies, they're still centralized companies with American citizens running them, and they definitely care what is going on in Washington.
So you think...
So what Pump is really describing right here is he's talking about governments and these companies. Anybody can have an opinion about Bitcoin, right? I mean, you can have the Janet Yellen that will come in and say all things about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and the likes. But the reality of these protocols or this asset is Bitcoin is a decentralized protocol, meaning no real government owns it. No real government is in charge of it. So you've got miners decentralized all over the world that will continue to ensure the success of this protocol. That you can say what you say, it can go up and down. You can have your opinions about it, but people around the world will continue investing in the asset. That's how they keep it strong. The dollar can go up, the yen could go up and down, the pound can go up and down. Frankly, the dollar can collapse. I mean, we're looking at BRICS right now, and all those BRICS nations are trying to step away from the dollar hegemony. So if all these people are stepping away from the dollars, if the guys in Dubai, in East Asia, the guys in Africa, if they all step away, if the guys in Russia step away from dollar, the dollar dominance, what's going to happen? Bitcoin continues to be strong. Bitcoin continues to thrive.
The promise of Bitcoin is that it will become electronic cash. The dirty secret is if that never happens, I'm not saying that it is not going to happen, but if it never happens, Bitcoin is still going to be highly valuable just as a store of value. And so there's still a ton of upside. And I think that's why investors are excited.
All right. I feel like we should have a disclosure for you because
I own Bitcoin.
So do I. But you're so rabid. I mean, people need to know how rabid you are.
This is just a conversation between the smartest minds again in the space, and the crypto connoisseur tracks these people, tracks what's going on in the market, and gives it to you. You are a millionaire in the making. It's like winning the lottery in slow motion. So keep learning, guys. This channel will keep giving you the best news, the best learnings. You just like and subscribe. Click that like. Do not be shy. it helps us to keep doing this content and keep giving you the best that we can give. Again, the Crypto Connoisseur, back again with another video.